Watch this entire video because I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know to get your home loan approved. Welcome to the channel. I am Stephanie Weeks and I've been a loan officer for 18 years and I'm passionate about mortgage loans and sharing information and sharing education around that. If you're tuning in today, you're probably like hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even millions, wondering, how do I get a mortgage loan approved? I'm going to cover that in today's video. Before we dive in, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and the like if you are enjoying the content today, as I would greatly appreciate it. All right, how do you get a mortgage loan approved? We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, but it's going to be all great information. The first thing you want to kind of prepare yourself is transparency. You want to be fully transparent. This is a deep dive into your finances, and there are going to be questions that are going to be uncomfortable. There are going to be things that are going to aggravate you. There are things that might aggravate your family members if you're getting a gift. So we want to talk about those kind of things to prepare you to get the right foot forward to make sure that you do get that mortgage loan approved versus denied. Did you know that on average around 21 million people a year in the US apply for home loans, and on average around 7 million close? That's not because it's so hard to get approved, and it's not because that many people are actually denied. I think it's because of lack of accurate information. Google can just swallow you in when it comes to mortgage loans, and everything is so case by case. That's why the information is so confusing, and that's why a lot of the information online is what I call a partial truth. So let me give you an example of that, okay? One example. You have to be on your job for 2 years in order to get your mortgage loan approved. Sometimes, and it depends on the loan type, and it depends on your career type, and it depends on the schooling around your career, and then it also depends on how your pay is broken down. See, so partial truth you got off the internet, which might have discouraged you or made you think, I can't get a home loan right now, but you actually may approve just completely fine. Let me give you an example. I had a customer and he was moving from one city to another, same state. Doesn't really matter, but he was moving and getting a new job. And in both instances, he was in food sales. And in both instances, he had a base that was guaranteed, and he also received bonus income as well. He had only been on his new job for 30 days, and we closed his loan without a problem whatsoever. That's what I mean by a partial truth. And that's why knowledge and accurate information is so important. And that's why I created this channel. That's why I wrote the book on mortgages called Mortgage Peace. And that's why I created the Ultimate Mortgage Guide First-Time Home Buyer course. I appreciate you tuning in so much, and I hope you're enjoying the information and the content. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, my team would love to help you with your mortgage financing. We can help in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. Enough of that. How do we get your home loan approved? That's why you're here today. Another thing, we talked about transparency, we talked about being comfortable. The other thing you want to do is really don't get offended. Take a lot of deep breaths, be super calm, and remember that your loan officer is on your side. Your loan officer wants to see your loan approved. Your loan officer is just following regulation and following guidelines, and that's why they're asking for these things. What kind of things might they ask for? Well, it's not going to be an all-inclusive list because remember, everything is so case by case when it comes to mortgage lending, just as you saw with my example of the customer changing jobs. Some of the standard items are driver's license, bank statements, paycheck stubs, maybe IRA, 401k, stocks, bonds, CDs, those types of statements as well. Sometimes you'll need a letter of explanation if there's an address discrepancy from your application to your credit report. They'll want W2s. Sometimes they'll need tax returns as well. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into those items. If you want to get your home loan approved, when you're copying your driver's license, make sure that you just see your driver's license in that copy or that picture or that PDF. We don't want to see your fingers. We don't want to see the leftover food on your kitchen table. Just want to see that driver's license. If there's a sticker on the back, then we need the front and the back. We are looking for an unexpired driver's license. So if your driver's license is not expired, you just need the front. But if it's expired on the front, but there's that extension sticker on the back, that's when we'll need the front and the back. When it comes to paycheck stubs, we're almost always looking to see at least 30 days of coverage. Many people are paid weekly, so in that example, that would be 4 consecutive order pay stubs and the most recent ones. You'd be surprised. We've had people send pay stubs from 6 months ago. That does no good, and that is not a way to get your loan approved. When it comes to those paycheck stubs, what are we looking for? Well, did you say that you work 40 hours a week? Do those 4 paycheck stubs each show 40 hours, 40 hours, 40 hours, and 40 hours? Do those paycheck stubs that you do make show that you do make the $60,000 in salary that you said that you made per year? Do those paycheck stubs make sense when it comes to the year-to-date number on that pay stub? Meaning if, let's say that you give me a pay stub for November, and you said that you made $60,000 a year, and I'm looking at the current pay, the current period, the salary if it's listed, the hourly rate that should be listed, the number of hours you worked, and then the year-to-date income based on those numbers. And remember, we're in November in this example, and your year-to-date shows $25,000. Something's wrong, something's missing. So those are the things that we're looking for when it comes to the paycheck stubs. We're looking to make sure everything makes sense. And guess what? Maybe that does not blow up your loan. Maybe you just had a payroll company switch with the same company. Well, we're just going to get a paper trail of that. Or maybe that's because you switched jobs or the company got bought out. And so, half it shows in the old company, half it shows in the new. As long as you communicate and you know what we're looking for, then you can help us paper trail that to get that proof that you do make that $60,000 a year. When it comes to assets, checking, savings, stocks, bonds, CD, 401k, IRA, don't fret if you don't have all of that. It's okay. I'm just giving you examples. Maybe you have annuity. There's a whole list of things it could be, but those are the most common. When it comes to the assets, we are almost always looking for 60 days of coverage. We're going to look at that 60 days and look at the beginning balances, the ending balances. We're going to look at the average balance over that 60 days. We're going to look at deposits to make sure they make sense. And we're going to look at, are there any overdraft? Is there any NSF? Year to date and or on the statement specifically. Ignore the garbage truck. Hi, bye. But we're going to be looking on all of that for your asset statements, and we're going to look for those kind of things. Now, remember, 60 days coverage. So if you get a quarterly statement, we just need 1. But most statements are 30 days, so we're going to need 2. They're going to need to be the most recent and in consecutive order. And you're going to need to make sure that every single page is attached, regardless of what's on the page. There are lots of times it says 5 pages and page 5 is blank. Ooh, they need their brakes fixed. But that's okay though. We need all the pages regardless of what's on the page. Now, a lot of people wonder, why do you need that? That's so stupid. Well, pages 1 through 4 could show me that you have $100,000 and page 5 could show me you borrowed $90,000 of it. Well, then you really only have 10, right? So, or page 5 could show me that you've got NSF and overdraft year to date. So we need to see all of those pages. Now that's when that comes to the assets particularly. We don't really care that you're at Target every other day. I know, I get it. It's very enticing to go in there and spend lots of money. It's like you go in for one thing and then all of a sudden you leave with $150. We're not looking at that. We're looking at those average balances, overdraft, NSF, things like that. So don't be too worried about what you're spending the money on. Now, we talked about paycheck stubs. We talked about the driver's license. We talked about the bank statements and the assets. Now let's talk about the W-2s. When it comes to the W-2s, we're also looking to make sure that everything makes sense. If you said that you've been on your job for 2 years, then we should see, typically, it depends on the month of the year, typically we'll get 2 years W-2s and it'll make sense of the income. Now, you don't always start a job on January 1. Remember, we're making sense of the income. So let's say that over that 2-year period, yes, you've been on your job for 2 years, but because of the time of year that we are, you actually have 3 W-2s that you need to produce because you have the 2 W-2s for the current job, one's for a full year and one's for a partial year, and that other one's a previous job that you had before you started this new job. And we'll audit things like that. Like we'll pull reports from the IRS that are called a W-2 statement, and we'll make sure that the IRS said that you reported or the employers reported 3 different companies for $100,000 in total W-2s. Well, we need to make sure that mortgage loan file shows and matches those amounts and those audits. And that's why it's important to be fully transparent and be expecting the types of things that they're going to be asking for. Another huge thing to get your loan approved is the detailed loan application. A loan application can make or break a deal. So if you've been on your job for 16 months, do not write 2 years. It's just going to come up later and it's just going to cause hiccups. How long have you been on your job? Put exactly that. The loan application always needs to show a 2-year work history, so make sure you're covering 2 years. So the employment needs to cover 2 years, and the address history also needs to cover 2 years as well. So make sure, again, if you've been there for 22 months, don't write 2 years, because that would have been 24. So write your current address, and be sure to write your previous address. One big thing that I see is people who are in college. They will give me a loan application that shows 123 ABC Street, and then they will tell me that they rent and that they can prove that they rent, and then it turns out that they're renting on Jaybird Street. Okay, well that doesn't match. Why the heck? Why is it different? Oh, because I use my parents' address for a lot of my bills. No, your loan application is asking for your physical address where you are residing. So make sure that you put that total physical address. The Weeks team would love to help you with your mortgage financing in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. We want to be your loan officer. This is how I like to explain the mortgage home loan process. Think about this, okay? And this is why I say cut your loan officer slack. Sometimes people are so mean to us. It is so crazy. So cut us some slack. Imagine this. Go to the store, you get a 1,000-piece puzzle, okay? You take the box, you open it up, you throw away the top that shows you what the picture looks like. And then you take the pieces in the box and you throw them up in the air and you let them fall everywhere and you throw that box away too. Your loan officer is picking up every single piece. We don't know what the picture looks like yet. And not only do we have to pick up every single piece and match them perfectly, if there's a piece missing, your loan does not close. So help us to know what that picture looks like. Help us to put those pieces together. Help us by turning in everything. Help us by a complete loan application that's really detailed. Help us by being our teammate and giving us what we need when we need it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email if I can help you in one of the states that I'm licensed in.